Welcome back. God bless you and God bless America. I am your host, Steve, and this is the Liberal Letdown. Today, we are going to follow up on the jihadists in New Mexico, and we are going to talk about the Catholic Church, because some pretty serious stuff came out recently about how disgusting these individuals are, and I kind of want to weigh in on it. So, we'll start with New Mexico, and this judge that is just so. The only story that I found that said she explained why she ruled, this judge, Sarah C. Backus, ruled not to not hold the compound suspects until trial, was because she felt that the state didn't provide sufficient evidence as to they were training kids for school shootings. So, compared to everything else I talked about last week, I don't understand how she could come up with this. The article I used last week was a CNN article. So unless CNN is absolutely full of shit, which there's a huge chance they are, this judge is just doing this to get in the papers, and she just put a whole lot of people at risk. Even if, let's throw out the very improbable notion that these are good people, okay? Because let me reword that. Take away the whole training kids to be school shooters. Take that out of the equation whatsoever. Don't even think about it. They still abused 11 kids and killed one of them. Or there were 12 kids, 11 were alive and malnourished, and the other one was dead. 3 years old. Now, granted, it's not proven that this is the child of one of the males. But this was a child that was said to be missing from Georgia. And she still let him walk. And this woman, this judge, says that the prosecutors failed to produce clear and convincing evidence that showed the defendants were a danger to the community. They kept kids in a very malnourished state without running water, and one of them died. And that's not including the whole, one of the foster parents said that their child was able to manipulate a rifle, which at a young age is very, very rare, and was taught to commit school shootings. So unless these prosecutors didn't have this parent on, or whatever, I just can't believe. Even with the school shooting thrown out, don't even think about it, and it's still, you let 5 adults into the public to potentially do this all over again, or to contact the children that they had in the compound in the first place, and they could then commit these shootings, or commit acts of violence, or terror, because that's what it was. And with school starting soon, I guess this judge, if something happens, and one of these kids or one of these adults goes out and does anything, any type of violence to that nature that they've been accused, this woman, she's been getting death threats. I gotta be honest, I don't blame these people. I truly don't. Mainly because she just let child abusers roam free up until trial. They roam free because she's incompetent. Oh, she was hit with death threats. She doesn't deserve that. She just put. So say these kids are allowed to go to school. I don't think these kids are going to be held. If these kids start going to school and say they were trained to commit these acts of terror, I would be pissed too. Especially if my kid is at these schools. These parents have every right to sit there and call this judge out for her nonsense. Now, death threats, okay, no, you shouldn't. Because then you're just as bad as these people she just let walk free. However, I think she should, you know what, I don't know what it is with judges, but she should lose her job. I believe it's an elected position, so... Yeah, gone. Get out. You are trash. You are human garbage. You do not deserve to have your position. You don't. Especially when you just... It was so blatant. Oh, well, I didn't think that there was enough evidence. I think you're crazy. A child was found dead. There were remains found at the compound, and you let these people walk. You didn't hold them. They were deemed by the people that found them and raided them and arrested them to be a danger to society. And this judge said, "Nah, I don't think so. Yeah, I think you're allowed to walk." However, she said that the gentleman, I won't even try and pronounce his name because that's ridiculous. The father of the 3-year-old, the kid that was dead at the compound, he wasn't going to be released, so he's still there. She states that this gentleman still being held on detainer from Georgia, where he's accused of abducting the boy that he ended up sacrificing. Jesus. House arrest, wearing an ankle monitor, no contact with the children, except for supervised contact. Supervised contact. It wasn't even confirmed that they were the parents because the women denied being parents. They denied being the parents of these children. And now you're going to allow them supervised contact. That's disgusting. That is this whole thing. This judge is absolute trash. She is absolutely what is wrong with this country and acceptance and trying to normalize all of these erratic behaviors that do not belong in Western civilization whatsoever. This woman is a problem. She needs to be fired, thrown out of office, whatever it is for a judge. You're gone. You get out. We don't want it. You don't have it. Gone. All right, and now we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about something that has actually kind of struck a nerve for me. Because I am some people question it, but I actually am a steadfast Christian. Full disclosure, I went to Catholic high school. But before that, that's where I found my faith, but before that, I had no real knowledge or belief in God. But Matt Walsh, who, if you haven't listened to his show, he's amazing, and he doesn't pull punches, and he doesn't cuss like I'm going to, because what these priests did is disgusting. So if you have kids, I know I cussed earlier, but I feel like this is gonna be a little different. Go ahead and take them out of the room. Matt did this earlier when he spoke of what these priests did to these children. All right. So in Pennsylvania, there are over 300 predator priests that are named in the document, okay? There's a grand jury about sexual abuse by these priests. The specifics I listen to they're very graphic. It's disgusting. And they're kids. And these priests just sexually assaulted violently and raped these kids. Primarily boys, but also girls. You know, in one case, a boy was forced to stand naked, posing like Christ on the cross, while priests took pictures, and then added them to child porn, a collection of child porn, and then distributed these pictures across church grounds. These priests had a whole system to mark boys that were being groomed for abuse by priests. They would give them a gold cross. They had a whole system to just continue raping little boys. And I don't get it. I don't understand. I'm having a lot of trouble trying to wrap my head around why these men would feel this is okay while being an ambassador of Christ. And Matt Walsh, he made a good point. He feels that the vast majority of these priests are gay. And when you really think about it, a straight man does not approach a child, a boy, and look at him sexually. If a man, married, kids, or not, rapes a boy, that's homosexual. That's homosexuality. That's a homosexual act. That man... The man's not straight. He's not. You have urge like that. It was a choice to do it. You're not gonna just randomly, oh, you know what? I'm gay. I'm gonna go rape kids. That's not how that works. And the title of his article that I'm glossing over, there must be a purge in the Catholic Church, and it must be brutal. And I got to be honest, I absolutely agree. I think the Catholic Church has been a running joke for a very long time. I'm proud to not be Catholic. And I'm a very firm believer in Christ, and I'm abundantly proud I am not Catholic. I do not associate with the Catholic Church whatsoever. They are, how to put it, disgusting. You have a pope that is a joke and a half, who does not speak for the betterment of Christianity whatsoever, who has pushed the normalization of homosexuality as a whole. And I think that's where a lot of this is stemming from. You go ahead and you normalize these disgusting acts amongst a populace, and in order for you to keep your followers and keep growing, you also normalize these acts and you accept these degenerate people into your fold, and then you cover up their sins because you know you made a mistake. But it's your teachings that are the mistake. You teach it's okay. It is not. And now we are reaping what they sowed. These boys will never be the same. There was a girl who, a priest raped this young girl and had her arranged for her to have an abortion. The priest bishop heard about the situation and wrote a letter of condolence to the priest. That's how high up this goes. There was a case of a priest. He admitted over a course of 2 years he had naked horseplay with a young boy. And then he was allowed to continue in ministry for 7 more years. I mean, if the death penalty was allowed in this country for people like this, then it should be performed. I feel that this is just one of the most disgusting things, and I'm reading this and I'm just appalled at every new story, and there's more, and I just can't bring myself to talk about it. The Catholic Church needs a purge, needs an absolute purge. And they already have a shortage of priests. They already have this incredible shortage of men that want to do this, that want to preach the Word of God, because it's so lost on these generations, my generation, the following generation, and even so the one before mine. Millennials are a sad sack of just waste. Anybody who sits there and promotes socialism, you're just garbage. Anybody who sits there and sits in a gold throne and proclaims that homosexuality is natural and that straight people should apologize to these who've been persecuted, I think you're crazy. I think you are absolutely insane for normalizing an act that Jesus Christ said was unholy. I think you saying that owning guns is wrong is just incorrect, is wrong in itself. I feel that the Catholic Church is so lost, and it starts at the top because their leadership is a joke. I feel that these boys never should have been or dealt with what they had, ever, especially from this organization, especially from a faith-based system, because all you've done is shine a light on an entire state and 6 of the 9 dioceses in this state, to my understanding, of how disgusting these priests were to these boys. And it's going to be very difficult to try and bounce back from this. You can't glance over this. You can't let that go. I don't understand how you can go to church this Sunday and look at your priest and say, and not ask the question, are you raping my kid? Obviously, not all these priests are this bad. They're not. They really aren't. But seeing all this, and the first thing I would do is look at my son and see if he was gifted anything, and sit my son down and ask very difficult questions, or my daughter. And just to be sure, because this was such an organized thing. You don't know where it goes, where it ends. You don't know who to trust. You don't know why it started, where it started, who's involved. You have 300 priests by name across 6 dioceses. That's impressive and terrifying. Well, I know that if I was a priest and I was trying to do the absolute right thing, and I wasn't involved in any of this, or even if I was, I would go and I would give my sermon on Sunday and I would say, what these people have done is unholy and demonic and never, ever, ever should be accepted amongst our beliefs and amongst this church. And reassure your people, your followers, those who believe based on your word that you aren't raping their kids, because there's going to be huge backlash to this, and the church is going to suffer. And followers, new followers, was already declining. It was already on the decline. It's trending downward for years. This is just icing on the cake. It's just going to completely drop out. And it was their own fault. You normalize actions that shouldn't be, and you cover up for those who are disgusting and who commit these perverted acts. And then you allow them to this system of degeneracy. And I think that's what scares me most, is that they had this no words needed system of who they could and could not abuse. It's wrong all around. And I hope they get what's coming to them. Well, that's it for today. God bless you and God bless America. Thank you for listening.